Game of Thrones Noobs podcast. I'm Dave Cave Draws. I'm joined by Kit.
Dave Cave Draws.
I'm Kit. I'm Pineapple Smiles. It's a pleasure to be here.
And then we got JoJo.
Hello. I'm
JoJo Siwa.
JoJo Siwa, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, that's copyrighted.
So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to walk you through episode 5. This is my first time watching Game of Thrones, and we're going to see if I have any funny observations. I don't know. All right, how'd you guys feel about this episode?
Thumbs up. I liked it. Good energy.
Thumbs up.
I really liked it too. And we'll get into it. Mostly positive. There are a lot of good things happen. Obviously, this is the exact midpoint of the season. Some of the talking scenes, which were necessary, but some of them did go on a little long. I feel like, specifically, there's like a scene with like Cersei and Robb that just drones on forever, and I'm pretty sure they repeat the same things they're saying like 3 times. And we find out Robb is into teriology. Do you guys know about teriology real quick?
No. What?
Oh, do you guys know the actor Terrence Howard?
No.
Do you remember him? God, you guys don't know anything. Okay, Terrence Howard was in the first Iron Man movie, and then he's a really good actor, first of all.
News.
But he's not in Hollywood anymore because he came up with his own math system, and he calls it teriology. And it's like its main principle.
He was War Machine.
Yes. The main principle of teriology is 1 × 1 = 2.
Oh.
Realm report. I need some sound effects. How was that? How'd you guys like that opening?
I don't know what that was.
It was incredible.
Thank you. So this episode came out on May 15th, 2011. The only notable things that happened were, The Office's final episode of season 7 also happened on the same day. Parks and Recreation's 3rd season concluded on the same day. I don't know, The Witcher 2 came out. Cool. All right, that was the Realm Report. We're moving on.
Oh, okay.
We're going to keep it brief because I don't care about any of that shit. That might be the last Realm Report. Realm Report.
Ever? The last Realm Report?
No, I don't know. Maybe if I see like something cool, I'll definitely like check over. I'll at least say the date the episode came out every time. And if I see anything that's like kind of cool, oh, you know what? Bridesmaids came out around this time. That was a funny movie. Pirates of the Caribbean On Stranger Tides. Yep. That's the 4th one. Also came out.
Terrible movie. No, I never saw that movie. I never saw that. I don't know what I'm saying.
I saw it, but I can't remember like a single thing that happened. I think it was the one with the mermaids. All right. Realm Report is done. Okay, we're going into the walkthrough. So just to recap what happened in the show so far, or at least in the last episode, Jon Snow has a new partner on the White Wall, Sam. He's a big baby-looking guy. He's bad at everything. The tournament is underway. Ned's helping. It's Ned's tournament. I don't know. And Sir Hugh is killed by a massive dude named the Mountain. Did you know Ned is his nickname? His real name is Eddard.
His real name is Eddard.
Eddard.
Yes.
I just found that out like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Catelyn. How do you guys say it? Catelyn? Catelyn arrests Tyrion at a rest stop, and she plans to bring him back to Winterfell. Tensions between Jaime and Ned continue to build. Arya continues her wacky sword training with her wacky teacher. Things are kind of rocky between Sansa and Joffrey. And then Daenerys. What would you guys say about Daenerys?
Things are looking up.
Smash or pass? Wait, what?
I think she'd smash me.
This is basically Daenerys don't take no shit from her brother no more. All right, that is the recap.
Dragon blood.
All right, this is episode 5, The Wolf and the Lion. who's the wolf, who's the lion? I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think I know. I think I know who it is.
Is it
I
like
have no idea.
I couldn't place it. I'm guessing it's a reference to Ned and Jamie. I want to say maybe.
Oh, no, it's got to be like Uncle Fester and
Oh,
the
Well, no, hold on,
And-
because the wolf, like the dire wolf, and then the Lannister would be like a glowing.
okay.
Like their house.
I'm actually
glowing
I'm
mind.
on
know what
Kit's
that means.
I'm on Kit's side.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea that it may be what you said. I don't know. I don't think there's like an actual. I think it's like several things probably. Okay, for scene number 1, let's get it. Let's get this. The tournament venue is being cleaned and prepped for another day of crazy jousting. Sir Hugh's body is being stitched up and prepped for burial. Or it's just being like stitched up. His body in a tent. Some of the ninjas with the backboards strapped to their head from the first episode are in there. What are these guys? One of them looks like Gabe from The Office.
priests, I think.
Okay, they're priests. And you don't actually see their faces, but you see one of their noses. So I was like, oh, Gabe from The Office. Big nose.
Yeah, because he says, "Good job, sisters."
Yeah,
in that
it's
scene.
they're not even. Gabe. It's close.
Yes.
All right, so
I know,
yeah,
Gabe.
Ned is checking that out. He's like, oh my god, it's so sad that he died. Oh, I'm Ned. But he's asking questions about like who chooses the fights and expresses like suspicions that maybe somebody wanted Sir Hugh dead. He does it subtly. He doesn't go like somebody wanted him dead. He was just like, who holds the straws or whatever. And then he walks out with the police guy. I don't know his name. And he tells Robb the king wants to joust. And the king's like actually getting prepared. Or he's getting ready to joust like right now in his royal tent. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I do want to see Robb joust. That would be kind of cool. But Robb is in his royal tent with Link, the Squire boy from Zelda. Where did they find this kid? This kid is the most video game looking kid of all time.
That's true.
Link is trying to put the king's armor on, but Robb is too fat. So Robb just like horribly insults the boy and his mother. And then Ned comes in. And then Ned makes like a fat joke about like Robb being too fat. And Robb sees the boy laughing and scolds him for laughing at his king. And then scolds him for not laughing at Ned's joke. So it's like lose for this kid. And then he like kind of like waves him away. He just go get this breastplate stretcher, and he runs out. And then Ned and Robb talk for a little bit, and Ned's like, "Dude, you can't joust, dude. Like people are just gonna let you win. You're the king, and also you are fat. Let's not forget that." No. So yeah,
No.
I think he kind of Ned kind of like talks Robb into not competing. Kind of. It's never like it's not said, but he doesn't end up competing after this. So
What a chubbers.
I think he still should have done it. I think I think that's more of a reason for him to compete. Like no one wants to hurt him. Like hell yeah, that would be a lot more fun. Like I know they're not going to do anything to me. Yeah. All right, so it's go time. It's tournament time. It's the Mountain versus a Pretty Boy. This guy is straight up like out of an anime. Out of
Yup.
your neck of the woods, JoJo, and your Bizarre Adventure. He's like that type of
No.
character.
Okay.
Because he rides by his really shiny silver armor. He's holding a rose. He's
Kurama.
walking up all proud. He's a cartoon character. I swear to God. Yeah, everybody knows this guy. Sansa is like, oh my God, it's that guy. Like I don't know. This clearly people know about this guy, and he's like everyone talk. All the ladies like. He gives Sansa a rose, and then he gives he looks at the Hobbit guy. I don't know his name. He's gay.
Lord Elrond.
Okay, and then Ned sits down next to Sansa. Ned sits next to Sansa, and asks where Arya is, and she's like, she's at the dancing lessons. Ugh. And then Sansa also. This is Sansa's only scene, by the way, in the entire episode. Oh, I already said this, but Sansa has a crush on the night guy, and she's like, "Don't let the mountain hurt him," to Ned. And Ned's like, "Dude, this fucker's gonna die." No. But yeah, I think all of us are looking at this guy like, this guy's gonna get freaking smashed, dude. There's no way this guy beats the mountain. And then also Littlefinger's in the crowd. We got some big names in the crowd right here. We got Maester Pyce, right? Pycelle. And we got, actually that's it. We got Littlefinger.
Old Man Beardy.
Who's the Hobbit? What's the Hobbit guy's name?
Renly Baratheon. I know exactly who you're talking about. That's so funny.
Yeah, Renly Baratheon. Okay. And then also like the nun is sitting next to Sansa. I don't know. There's a bunch of other old people in the crowd.
Did you say the Hound?
The Hound, I mean, the Hound's there too, but he's not in this specific. Oh yeah, okay. Littlefinger bets Hobbit guy. What's his name? Renly?
Yeah.
Renly.
Yeah.
Renly, yeah, he's just doing a little like playful little bet. 100 coins goes Renly, or no, Littlefinger puts 100 coins on the mountain, and then for some reason Renly takes that bet. And again, as the viewer, I'm going, dude, why would you ever take that bet? Because obviously the mountain is going to win.
Maybe
And
fight with the strength of 100 full-grown men.
so yeah, the show does a good job of like building, I don't know, making you think about the mountain and making you think about how he's about to murder this pretty boy with a rose. And his helmet looks like it's made out of barbed wire. It's actually a pretty cool, like Dark Souls looking helmet.
It's pretty gnarly. I liked it.
All right, so the knights, they jousted up. They ride towards each other. We're all going, there's no way this Sir Loras guy wins. And he wins. He lands like a direct hit on the mountain shield. The mountain topples off of his horse and like crushes the dividing fence. The Hobbit guy laughs at Littlefinger, and Littlefinger is like, "Whatever, you're gay or whatever." No. And the Littlefinger whispers to Sansa and Ned, "He knew the horse was in heat." Yeah, in the next scene, the mountain calls for his sword. He's like, "Sword!" And like a little dude runs from like 2 football fields away. He's like super far away. This dude like sprints at him with his sword, hands him his big sword, and in front of everybody, the mountain chops off his horse's head. Just straight up, just like one clean, cuts it off, blood. And then he goes after Loras, who's like standing right next to him. Or no, he's like, Loras is riding by on his horse. He bashes him off of his horse and then starts like beating his shield with his sword. And it looks like he's about to kill him, but the Hound intervenes, and then they get in a little sword tussle in front of the king for a bit. The king watches, everyone watches, and then finally Robb is like, "Dude, stop it." And the Hound immediately kneels, like mid-swing, like the mountain almost like cuts his head off. I don't know if the Hound is just really, he's like Spider-Man and he knew that swing would miss. That's how I would like to view it. Or, I don't know, he's just
he's just ready to die.
He's just a next level fighter. He's just showing his like fighting prowess and his awareness or whatever. I don't know. And then the mountain throws down his sword like a petulant child and walks away. And Robb's like, "Just let him go." And then Sir Loras, Roseboy, is like, "I owe you my life, sir." And Hound is like, "I am no sir." And then like Loras raises his hand in victory, and the crowd and Sansa go wild.
Poor Sansa. She has a crush on a gay man.
She doesn't know. She's just a child, and he gives her a rose. So what's she supposed to think? The poor, sweet summer child.
Can't catch a break.
He's like a celebrity. Yeah. It's just like she has a crush on a celebrity kind of feel to it.
So, though I have seen all of Game of Thrones, I don't remember most of it. So I was expecting Joffrey to be in the crowd when she was given that rose, and for him to have some kind of emotional reaction to it, some kind of possessiveness. But he didn't, so
Yeah,
Guess
we
it's
don't
fine.
even, it doesn't even like cut to him at all. The only reaction we get out of
No.
Joffrey is actually during the Hound in the Mountain fight. Joffrey's like, "Oh, that's my guy. He do good." Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do you guys know why they are calling Arya's sword lessons dance lessons? It's like
Yes.
a code name, but
Well,
why?
it's because of the person she's learning from. The technique that they're learning is the water dancing, which is a technique developed in Bravos.
Oh,
So all
yes.
the higher swordsmen in that area know that specific technique of water dancing.
Would it be bad if it got out that Arya was taking sword lessons? Like, do they need to couch it in secrecy?
I don't think so, because I think the one thing we understand about Ned is that he has no reason to hide things, and he doesn't like to hide anything. So he's a man that's based off of honesty and sincerity, and that's why whenever he approaches Meister Pycelle and he's like, "Well, it could have been poison," he's not. It might be a matter of ignorance, but only ignorance towards not being deceptive. He's not a deceptive person, and
So you think it's just a
that's not
cheeky
his
name?
motivation. Yeah, I
just a-
just think there's like, oh, it's dancing lesson, whatever.
Got it.
Yeah,
I thought she
But,
was
I feel like I
that
got.
could be.
I thought she was just like mocking her, just like, "Oh, her dumb lessons, whatever." And she was just like calling it
Yeah.
whatever. But I guess it
You
does
know
make
what?
sense
Yeah,
That-
that
that
do
could be.
dancing.
That is part of Sansa. It could
Oh
be
yeah.
that, and yeah, we also see that from a few other Starks in this episode. But I like the fact that Sansa's like clinging to Ned. It's probably one of the only tender moments
Yeah.
that they have where she's
Yeah.
like, please don't let him die. Like, okay, finally there's some interaction there happening at least. But
Aw.
the Rose Knight, the Knight of the Flowers, is the guy that unseated Jaime Lannister
Oh.
whenever
Oh.
Littlefinger was betting on Jaime Lannister to fight the Knight of the Flowers, and he lost, and that's how he lost the dagger to Tyrion.
Okay.
So there's some notorious kind of element around the Knight of the Flowers. He's not just like a flashy knight. He actually has some skill, despite all the like pomp, because his armor is like the most ornamented of all of the armor.
Oh, yeah.
Even in spite of the Lannister stuff that we'll see, like his is like, wow, that's money right there.
Yeah. Very shiny. It reminded me of like C-3PO at the end of the first Star Wars where he's all like polished. You're like, whoa, he's a lot
Yeah,
shinier than usual.
I don't think I would have done well in the Game of Thrones world because I I don't think I know what's going on half the time. And when I was watching this scene, I thought the implication was that the joust was rigged somehow. And that's why the Baratheon kid was so confident in rooting for the guy going against the mountain. I thought it was like, because it's rigged.
Oh,
then
that's
when-
actually. I didn't read it that way, but
Yeah.
that I guess it does kind of make sense to, because also in the scene leading up to this, Ned is like throwing suspicions down that like maybe it's rigged because like Sir Hugh, or like at least like someone wanted Sir Hugh dead specifically for some reason.
Right.
So
Yeah, so that element does exist in this. Like there are happenings behind the scenes that are going on for the tournament. Like with Sir Hugh, but then also with the Knight of the House Tyrell. What's his name? The Knight of the Rose.
Yes.
Littlefinger leans over to Sansa and he's like, "Oh, his horse was clearly in heat, and that disturbed the other horse, which it agitated the other horse, which is why the mountain ultimately cuts its head off because he's infuriated at his own horse and his own incompetence."
Hey, what
That's
did we
kind of
think
cheating
about
at the
that?
time.
What did we think about that head cutting off, by the way?
I was just like, dude, you're gonna have to like find another horse now. Like, well, that's just seems like not a good. I don't. It's like destroying your car because it ran out of gas or something. Like, I don't know. Seems like it's going to cause more problems.
In one swing, he cut that whole head
Oh
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's strong
I
for
liked
sure.
Yeah, it definitely demonstrates him as an imposing force. And so I think the initial intro of him, even though it wasn't as impactful in the last episode, he's just this presence. But now you get to see that presence put to action, and there's a little bit more urgency to it, especially when he's so dominating in terms of stature, and he's chopping this head off of the horse in one swipe, and then the hound has to come intervene, and they're fighting, and you're like, oh crap, what's going to happen here? And you know that they have tension because that's already been pre-established before. And I love it when King Robert Baratheon stands up and he's like, stop this nonsense in the name of your king, you know? He's just like screaming. And I feel like he was waiting for the appropriate time to say that. And so the hound, he like kneels right at the right point, and then the swing misses. Oh, I just love that. I love that little. It's like, whoa, he could have died. He could have really just died.
It's very like when I was taking the screenshots, it's like that sword goes. There's no way. Like the hound, like he's like, I'm gonna honor the king, and if I die, whatever. I guess I die. Like that's what it seemed like.
He's ready to go, man.
He just like stopped mid swing. Like yeah. But I would also like to think he's just next level Spider-Man reflexes, and he knew it was gonna miss. Like, all right. Does that? I don't want to, and maybe I shouldn't ask. I just want to like. I wonder if like Hound ends up, if we get like a full showcase of like the Hound's skills. That's just a question I have for. I'm not actually like you guys probably already know the answer, so. But I hope we get to see him be like a badass in like a real battle or whatever.
we shall see. Well, I just wanted to touch on like Robert Baratheon being completely like we know that he's oh, you thought he was sadistic?
Well,
oh yes, he was to Lancel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he treats him like crap, you know. He's the one Lannister I feel like he can really just manhandle.
Yeah, he revels in berating him. Like
yes. Well, he makes a statement of it. He says in this scene, I think he says, I thought that being king could mean I could do whatever I wanted. You know, that realization is kind of just weighing on him. Maybe not so heavily, but it's there. You know, he's not blindsided to it. But he just takes advantage of whatever he can. And I don't know. I like that scene, and I like him going through and being like, I'm gonna go jousting, and then Ned is like, no, first of all, you're way too old, and you know, no man is gonna put up the proper fight. It's not gonna be fair. So he's cushioned. He's really cushioned. I also think it demonstrates not the loyalty, but the kind of I guess the way that the kingdom or the people would feel about him. Because I don't know who Ned would be thinking about specifically, but he says no man would risk hurting you. You know, none of these men. Maybe he's just talking about the knights specifically. Maybe they have Robert and hold him in such high regard that they're like, oh no, he's the king. He crushed the rebellion. He started the rebellion, crushed the Targaryens, and freed us. And you know, I don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was more just like of course no one's gonna harm the king that, you know, kills people, puts people to death.
But how many people have we seen has he actually killed? I think he's shown
I don't know. Yeah, I guess
quite a bit of restraint in this. Since we've seen him, he's shown some restraint as opposed to other characters.
But there might just be like a implication that like, oh, this is a high-ranking person that you know, he has the power to, you know, like it's kind of like how a billionaire has the power to just make people disappear. All right, that was the tournament. Tournament's done, I think. I don't know if we see the tournament ever again. All right, chapter 2, Cat and her gang of miscreants. No, I'm just kidding. They're like normal people. They're transporting Tyrion. They're taking a break. Tyrion notes that they actually aren't on the King's Road. They're on the Eastern Road, I think is what he says. And Kat's like, I know. I was telling people King's Road so they wouldn't be following us. And then they get attacked by they're going to her sister's place. Like that's where she's actually taking him. And I do not like her sister, but we'll get there in a second. Then they get attacked by, I don't know, just bandits. Who are they? They're just like a roaming gang of bandits. Attack them, kill a lot of Kat's people. I think only like 2 or 3 of them survive. I forget. But yeah, most of the group is killed except for, Santa is there. Founding Father Santa. Tyrion Cat, Better Call Saul guy. I don't know his name. And also he's not from that show, but he could be. Tyrion kills a man via shield to his face. And apparently this is his first kill. Which was I don't know. It's surprising to me that was his first kill, but because he just does not, it doesn't affect him at all.
Lannister, it's the lion.
Yeah, in the next scene, we're back in Winterfell. Not Robb. What's his name again? Theon?
Oh, yes. Theon.
Oh, my God. I was just saying a name. All right. So not Robb is practicing his archery in front of Bran and Maester Lemon. I don't know. They're doing, Bran and Maester are doing school work. I don't know. Bran is complaining about how his mom doesn't care for him because she wasn't there when he woke. I'll be honest, I didn't really pay attention to what they were talking about. I think this is what they were talking about. But yeah, Bran's like, she doesn't love me. She's like, she's not here. And Lemon's like, dude, she likes you a lot, actually. She's actually like trying to like bring justice to the people that did this to you. Dumb boy, shut up. And then, yeah. Now we're in the next scene. Not Robb is having sweaty butt sex with Ross.
Woohoo!
I think this is Ross, right?
Yes.
Ross,
yes.
the Omega level prostitute we've heard so much about. There's a lot of
oh yeah.
There's a lot of nudity in this scene. We get some floppy wiener. We get some boobs, everything. We get it all. And then they talk about Tyrion. Not Robb wants to know what Tyrion's like in bed. Ross is like, oh, dude, he's super good. And then we learn a little bit more about. It took me. I had to rewatch the scene a bunch of times to figure out what the point of this scene was.
A likely story.
But like literally, it's very what's the point of this scene? And I think they're just like building up
development.
Yeah, they're building up not Robb's character, specifically his history with the Starks and how he started working with. Like he's been serving the Starks since he was 8. He was part of. I didn't write it all down, but I think he was part of some rebellion against the Starks. Is that correct? And the Starks won and basically took him like captive, I think. And we also learned that Roz, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I actually don't even know. But we also learned that Roz knows a lot about everybody too. So because she gets around a lot, Omega level. She's seen a lot of people, so she knows a lot of their stories and stuff too. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure she's going to be dishing out. Arya's chasing cats in King's Landing. Ned is in his room, just like writing in his journal, and Uncle Fester comes in and sits down. Creed guy is standing outside Jory. Standing outside, Fester closes all the windows and doors. He's like, we got to talk in private, dude. You're smart and the king is a fool, and I trust you because my spies said so, I guess. I'm assuming that's how I also, all these people have spies. When are they meeting up with their spies every day? Are they, like, do they have like a quick meeting at night? Like, all right, what'd you guys get? Come on, 20 minutes, let's go. Tell me everything. And I'll memorize all of it on the spot. But anyway, he goes on to say I'm just remembering like Legoland meetings. Like we had these little like lead meetings before before the day started sometimes, with like all of when I had to like go grab the money. I had to go, I don't know. They would tell me stuff and I would forget it instantly. I'd be like, I don't care about any of this. I just need the money. I just want to go draw. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so, okay. He goes on to say Rob is in danger. The same people who killed John Aaron want him dead too. And they used a thing called the Tears of Lice, or Lys, Lys. It's a poison that is clear and tasteless as water and leaves no trace. And it was it was Sir Hugh who poisoned John Aaron as well. Is what we learned from this scene. So I'm guessing somebody wanted Sir Hugh dead to keep his mouth shut, basically. Keep his neck shut. And dude, I think they specifically targeted his neck to kill him, so he wouldn't be able to like shout it out either as he's dying. His last words are like, "I killed John Aaron."
Possibly. I feel like that's the only vulnerable point in his armor.
Yeah, that's true too. Really... Yeah. But so anyway, next scene, Arya continues to chase cats. She winds up in a dungeon with like a huge, like a cool dragon skull thing. Saber-toothed dragon. It has the saber-toothed tiger has like those big teeth. Probably not very functional, but they look cool. It's a big skull. It's in a dungeon. She hears some people coming, and she hides in the skull. I guess she's not supposed to be in this area. But it's Uncle Fester and it's Gimli. The guy we haven't seen this guy since the first episode. He was with Viserys and Daenerys.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do we know his name?
I can't remember.
Okay. Gimli. And they're talking about killing Ned, basically. They walk past Arya. They don't see Arya. She's hiding. And then they leave the room. Arya runs out another way. Y'all.
Oh, those are a lot of scenes.
We just if you want me to. So we have Cat transporting Tyrion. We have the sweaty butt sex. We have Uncle Fester. We find out like Sir Hugh killed John Aaron. Uncle Fester talks to Ned, and then we have the dragon Arya scene.
I wrote in the scene where the very first scene we talked about in this chunk where the one on the road with the, I assume, bandits or whatever that attacked, there was a jester. There was a man playing, or at least a musician.
Oh, like a minstrel kind of guy. Yeah, a bard.
And he was playing music and writing a little ditty about what was happening. And I wrote, I hate him. And then he died, and I wrote, good.
Why did you hate him?
I thought he was really annoying. I only saw him for he was only in the scene for a few seconds, but he was writing this old-timey, I say old-timey, like from the perspective of 2024, I don't know. I was just imagining this guy following me around trying to entertain me, but imagine if Nickelback was always trying to entertain you.
Oh my God. I love Nickelback songs. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They make some catchy ass music, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. Stand in your truth. Yeah. Imagine if Jojo Siwa was trying to sing Karma to you.
I love Jojo Siwa. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, she makes some catchy ass songs. I'm just gonna say that for everybody. No.
I mean, her name is JoJo, so she's got to be pretty cool.
Oh, bless.
I think I don't know. I just like the little minstrel flavoring. I love it when there's because it reminded me of like The Witcher, and then also a specific part in Skyrim. So I was like, oh, they have one of those guys. But he does die instantly, and it's almost like the writers were like, "We hate this guy. He needs to die." So,
Did he get stabbed or something, or shot with an arrow? I don't remember.
First,
I
his
don't even remember that.
instrument got shot with an arrow and exploded.
yeah.
And I was like, yes, the moment that happened.
Is it an arrow or is it just like a rock?
I'm not sure. But
Tyrion.
But I think this scene, I think Kat is, despite them being followed and this happening, she is being very, very. Wait, no, never mind. That's a different scene. I'm thinking of a different line that she says in this episode. But in this particular scene, I really liked seeing Tyrion save her. Like he has the choice to either jump on the horse or the pony and then ride off, or he like pick up the shield and do what he does, and that's exactly what happens. And it's like, I don't know, is that kind of poetic in a way? It just felt really cool. And then to see him kill somebody was like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
yeah.
And we see, yeah, right. And then we see Sir Roderick, who's the
Santa?
the knight that.
No.
Yeah, Santa. Yeah, he's from one of the knights from Winterfell, and he's holding his own. But you can see him take like a couple of slashes to the back, and so this guy is beefy, and he knows how to take a hit. You know, I think that was pretty cool. And Bran is just wrecking people as, you know, it's like, who is this random guy?
Who's
Bronn? Sorry,
Bronn?
is
I was like,
the-
Bran is there. Okay, so
Bronn,
Better Call Saul guy is Braun.
Bronn, yeah.
LeBron James.
That's so confusing. LeBron James.
He is like a
But then the
LeBron
next
James,
scene-
though. This guy's good. He's good at stuff.
He is really good. And then the next scene is Brandon, and I like the little acting things that are happening here with the dialogue between him and the Maester, because Brandon is playing dumb. Was like, I don't know their words. I don't, is it this? Is it this? And he's like, no, you know what it is. Stop playing around. And he never tells them exactly what he wants to hear in terms of like, what are the Lannisters' words, And then he ends up turning it and saying like, oh, loyalty, honor, duty. And then the Maester's like, no, you know that's your mom's house words of House Tully. And he's like, well, yeah, really? Well, if it's honor, duty, and loyalty, why is she over there and not with her? He's incredibly. He's a little more intelligent than we give him credit for at this point, because we haven't seen that. But he's got that little Sansa snarkiness to him.
I mean, intelligent or just being a smart ass. He's just kind of like a smart ass, I feel like.
Well, he's navigating the conversation, so there's a little bit
in the way that like a
there.
smart ass kid does, though. Like he's just being a bratty little kid. But I mean, you're right. He does make some good points. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just ultimately like, where the heck is my mom? Why isn't she here? And he's not asking that directly, which he could, because he's a little kid.
I wanted
like
Maester
that.
Lemon to slap the shit out of this kid. He was so annoying, dude. I was like, dude, I'll take your legs and slap you with them. You like,
Oh my god.
That's so messed up.
Dude, this kid is traumatized.
it's like, hey, not Rob with the arrow. Can you point that? I think the target's right here. Actually, let's no.
For me, it's that tiny little smirk that he gives during this conversation. That's like, he knows he's just fucking with the Maester. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just so amused by that. And it touches back on that whole motif of honor and duty, and what it means to, I guess, in sense, like Catelyn is trying to take responsibility for protecting the family from the Lannisters, because they suspect that they're the ones that did this to Brandon, and they ultimately killed John Ayres,
Aaron.
What the frick was his name?
John Aaron.
Yeah, John Aaron. So they think that they killed him as well.
Is it messed up?
This whole little interaction is fun.
Is it messed up in any way that they're like at the archery site where Like why are they like showing to Bran what he can't do anymore?
It's pretty fucked
Well,
up.
see, that's the other thing is that scene between the two of them ends with a bit of hope that is unlike the other aspects of Game of Thrones because Maester Lewin tells him, "Oh, there's hope for you to shoot a bow because with that thing that Lord Tyrion devised, you could learn to shoot a bow from horseback, and Dothraki kids learn when they're 4 or 3 or 4 years old."
Yeah.
So he gives him a little hope there, and I like that.
Yeah.
That kid. Imagine you're a child. I assume less than the age of 10. I'm not 100% sure what his age is. Imagine being a child and you fall from a great height and you wake up after being in a coma and you're paralyzed from the waist down and both of your parents are gone.
But we get kind of a
I don't have
big
much to-
reveal that we talked about Bran enough. We got a big reveal
Sure.
that about Uncle Fester. He's kind of like a little backstabbing piece of shit, right? What do you guys
I love
think about
Uncle
that?
Fester.
It has a
I-
creepy vibe to him, like I said.
Creepy
I
vibe.
gotta say
They're literally talking about like they're conspiring to kill Ned Stark. How's your guy's favorite character is like the worst guy in the world. So how do you
I still love
explain that?
Well, so just like how in the beginning when there was that jousting scene and I assumed it was rigged, I don't know, this scene gave me the vibe of he's playing like 4D chess and that he's not necessarily actually. I'm probably wrong about this. I'm sure because I'm saying it out loud and it sounds ludicrous, but the vibe I got watching it wasn't that he's actually conspiring to murder Ned. It's that he's playing a game of his own and planting that seed in someone's head is part of it. Nah, I'm probably wrong though.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of it is a little vague. It's not like straight up like, yeah, we're gonna kill Ned. It's a little more vague than that.
Yeah, I think ultimately what makes it so creepy is that his scene before that is him talking to Ned and saying like, "Oh, I have some faith in you.
Yeah.
The king is a fool, but maybe you have the opportunity to make the right choice." And then he's in the hallway and he's like, "Oh, by the way, we got to kill this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what side is he playing?
In 1 second, he's like, I really think you're cool and I like you. Next scene, I want him dead.
I want him dead.
But he thinks
I
I
gotta
like
admit,
him too. It's hilarious.
I just want to know how they got that big giant ass dragon skull into that tiny little room.
Yeah.
That's all.
And there's supposedly more than one. I mean, we only see one, but later
Uh-huh.
they're like, I was where the dragon skulls are. I mean, is what she says.
Before we move on, that scene with not Rob and the prostitute.
Oh, sweaty. Yeah. Floppy.
I hated that scene so much. Oh my god. And when I said hated that scene, I think what I mean is that what's that character's name? Not Rob?
Theon?
Theon.
I know it.
Theon.
I know it.
Theon Greyjoy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Theon is just so in this scene. The actor is incredible. Like big props to the actor, but the character Theon is so unlikable and unpleasant. And it's, I don't know, some characters are really fun to watch being unpleasant, but that whole scene with the prostitute, I'm like, this is, ugh. It's
Yeah.
like getting under my skin.
Scenes like that always make me feel about like, I mean, think about the like filming of it too, because we see his wiener like right after the butt. There's contact with the butt. So is he just like slamming his like floppy wiener against her butt, like to shoot, like for filming, like?
Well, there's a thing called a oh crap, I forgot the pillow that they put in between that the actors can request, so there's no contact.
Does the pillow make sound effects, or do they add those in post?
Like a squeaky, squeaky, squeaky,
Yeah.
squeaky.
But I
Oh,
mean,
that'd
that
be
might be.
hilarious.
It's just so like the genitalia doesn't hit, right? But there's still like straight up like
right.
thigh
Oh, yeah.
to butt slamming.
Pretty much.
A lot of butt
Pretty
slamming.
much, yeah.
No. And yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No,
Their
and it's just the
acting is
way-
good. There's no awkwardness in the acting for sure. I wonder how many times they shot this scene to like get over the awkwardness.
Well, no, the sexual content was fine. It was the vile and like degrading way in which he would speak to the prostitute and just constantly remind her that she is below him and beneath him, to the point where at the end he's like ready to not even pay. But
yeah.
she holds her own. She holds her own, man. She's like,
Yeah.
get a wife. If you're not gonna pay, get a wife.
Yeah,
Like,
she's a pro.
Mhm.
She knows
She's a pro.
she's encountered this language before for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
And,
Probably dealt
uh,
with worse.
Oh yeah, you know what's like more uncomfortable acting wise to me than like the sexual stuff is like when people put their face really close to another person's face and talk like really close to them. to me that's even more like uncomfortable for me to watch. I'm like, dude, your mouth is like really close to her eye or whatever. Like back up. But are you guys ready for the next chapter?
Yes.
Chapter 3. All right. Now we're in the throne room. In the the Iron Throne. Have you guys ever seen pictures of the actual like what the throne is supposed to look like? By the way,
I've seen the actual throne in person.
put it on the screen. No, but I mean there was like the how it appears in the show is not how it's actually. It's not like George R.R. Martin's vision. It's supposed to be this like it's like a 30-foot tall. It's like the same thing but like 30 feet tall basically. And there's like steps leading up to like where you actually sit, and it's crazy looking.
Yeah.
And they just
I
couldn't
don't
do
like
it for
watching
like they couldn't do it for like practical reasons or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have cost so much money. But I don't like watching interviews about Martin going over like the nuances of the show like that, because he's like, no visual artist was able to capture the Iron Throne the way that I imagined it. And I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. That's probably how it works. In terms of taking a vision of somebody else's and trying to translate it to a piece of art. So even the guy who did the final, like you have it posted in the notes of the image. I forget who the artist is, but even that guy, he said that even that guy didn't get it right.
But he does have a lot of
Huh.
cool, I've read a lot of his stuff, a lot of his sci-fi stuff. He has a lot of cool visual stuff that even as he describes them, it's like hard to imagine what they might look like. He has a good story called Night Flyers where they run into these like giant space jellyfish basically. Anyway,
Huh.
I'd recommend it. It's a good story. It's a short story too. It's only like 50 pages. All right. Okay. Chapter, what are we in? 3. We're in the throne room. Littlefinger is just kind of like hanging out there. He's joined by Uncle Fester. And again, they talk about a lot of stuff. I didn't write it all down because there's a lot of stuff. But they kind of like make fun of each other for a little bit. Uncle Fester pokes at the salacious activities that may or may not be happening in Littlefinger's brothel. And then Littlefinger's like, well, where's your balls, dude? Are they in a box somewhere? Haha. I think Uncle Fester's kind of gloating about like he's basically like, I know more about you than you do. Haha. And then like Littlefinger drops like a bombshell. He's like, I actually know a lot more than you do. And he tells him he's aware of his meeting with Ned earlier, and also his meeting with like Gimli in the Dragon Skull dungeon like 5 seconds ago. Littlefinger's on top of things. Fester is he's visibly surprised by like him knowing that he did all this. And then they're interrupted by Hobbit guy. What's his name? Rancy? Ranley. Renly?
Yes, Renly.
Yeah, Jojo,
Okay,
you're the
Renly,
guy.
yeah. They're interrupted by Hobbit guy who's like, you're late for the meeting. Let's go. And so they go to the council meeting, their daily council in the Vermeer room. We cut back to Arya, who, she escaped from the dungeon. She emerges from a cave on the beach, and she's she's covered in dirt. Like her face is all has dirt and stuff. She makes her way back up to the castle. She stopped by the guards because they think she's a beggar, and they laugh at her when she says she lives there. And then she doesn't back down. She confidently, it's just she tells them her dad is Ned, the Hand of the King, and they will be severely punished if they don't let her through, right now. And then they let her through. They're like, oh shit, maybe we should let her through. She goes up to Ned's room. She tells him everything about what she saw and heard in the dungeon. And then Walter White comes in. I don't know this guy's name. Oh, it's Yoren. Your first name Yoren, last name asshole. That'd be hilarious.
Wow.
Okay. And then, so Walter White comes in. He's like, dude, we need to talk privately. I just rode 100 miles from the White Wall to see you. Specifically you, nobody else. Get her out of here. And then they kill Arya. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone keeps calling Arya a boy, by the way. That's the running gag, I think. And then Walter White, Yoren, basically just tells Ned that Cat has taken Tyrion. And now we cut back to Tyrion and the rest of the gang on the Eastern Road. They've unbound Tyrion, by the way. He's still their prisoner, but he's unbound. He's I'm not going to run away. What am I going to do? Eat a shadow cat or whatever? Get eaten by... Whatever. I got it backwards. The Knights of the Vale ride out to meet them. They're a little confrontational at first because they're like, what do you have? You don't have an appointment with your sister? Get out of here, stupid. And then she's like, but I want to talk to her. And they're like, okay. And then they escort her back to the Eyrie. The Eyrie, it's basically it's a large rock tower, maybe 1,000. It's really tall, 1,000 feet tall or more. And there's a castle on top of it. And that's where they're going. How they built this, who knows?
Who knows?
Also, I think the screenshot, I think there's some proportion problems with this. Anyway, but it looks cool. It looks cool though. Back in the King's Landing, Ned is walking around. He's looking for Robb, and then Mr. Bean from episode 2, or maybe 3, comes and finds him, and he's like, actually, Robb's looking for you he's in the council room, dude. What are you doing out here? And so they go to the council room, and Robb has received knowledge that Daenerys is pregnant, and he basically wants to have her killed and Viserys killed. He's like, I just don't want to worry about this. Just let's just kill him. Whatever. We'll send out ninjas or something. I don't know. Ned doesn't want to have any part with killing a pregnant woman and a child. Basically, Robb is like, I'll find someone who does. And then Ned's like, fine, and quits. And he walks out, and Robb doesn't really take kindly to this. He shouts obscenities at him as he leaves, and he even threatens to have him killed. I'll have your head on a stick. I'll murder your wife. I don't know. He says a lot of stuff.
Well, he doesn't say that.
He doesn't say that, but he says a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And thus concludes chapter 3.
Anytime I see Varys and Littlefinger together, I love the dialogue between the two of them. And they're so good about building tension and interest. And even just them just, I guess, having their little quips back and forth is fun.
Yeah, it was very, it reminded me, it's kind of similar to how Jamie and Ned talk, how they have a bully off kind of, but with Littlefinger and Uncle Fester, it's I don't even know what to call it. It's I know more than you do kind of off or whatever.
Yeah. I think the stakes are kind of raised with their particular little battle off because they're not just talking about when Jamie and Stark would talk about things, it felt very it didn't feel very centralized. Yeah, it didn't feel
Yes.
like it had substance or there was importance to it the way that there is importance to
Oh yeah.
each one of these characters holding leverage over the other with knowledge.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the Master of Whispers is supposed to know everything, but then Littlefinger is like, I have just as much influence, so I know this. And so he's like, when did I think I saw you, oh, when's the last time you saw me? Was it you or was it somebody else that was you? It's like, oh, okay, what is this back and forth? But then it's like, how does that even end? Uh, because I think, Littlefinger was about to leverage himself over Varys and kind of blackmail him because he was setting himself up in terms of like, I saw you with the diplomats, I saw you with Ned. What if the queen finds out about this? And before he can actually say what he wants from Lord Varys, that's when Renly comes in and is like, "Hey, the king's going to be in the small council meeting." And then they're like, "Wait, what?" Or Littlefinger's like, "Wait, he's never been to a small council, or he hasn't been in years." So it throws him off. And then Varys is walking away immediately to end the conversation, and he leaves him with like, "Oh, you didn't hear?" It's like, oh,
Oh.
I heard about that. You didn't hear about
Oh
it.
yes.
So you don't get that resolution of what was Littlefinger going to ask him, or what was he going to demand of him at this point, because he clearly was setting something up there,
Oh,
which
true.
is
Yeah.
fun.
I didn't know there was any like tension between them before this scene. So this is like the first
Oh yeah.
scene we kind of. I don't know. I just assumed they were like friends. I don't know.
I do think Varys, uh, shall we say, sticks the landing better than Littlefinger does, because they had their little verbal joust, and then Varys starts to walk away. This is before they're interrupted about the king, and Little, in a move that I personally felt was pretty lame. Littlefinger turns and says, essentially paraphrasing here, "Who has your balls? Are they in a jar somewhere?"
It's like the only thing
Yeah.
you could think of left to
Yeah.
say.
That is, yeah. Was
Just
it like-
like, oh, buddy.
He's like,
man.
really
then
a
again, it's a
balls
good-
joke, dude. I've heard them
Yeah,
all.
But now thinking about it in contrast to what we just saw, like, we don't know what side Varys is playing at. So maybe that's what Littlefinger is hinting at. Like, who has your balls? Is it the king? Is it the
Ah.
queen who's holding, possession of you? Or is it this other foreigner? And what
Maybe
side of the diplomacy are you
Yeah.
playing?
Gimli.
You raise a good point.
But I
Okay,
get
I have a
I li-
I have a question, and it's kind of an embarrassing question because I think I'm overthinking things. I think the answer is evident, but in that encounter, Littlefinger makes a bunch of like gay jokes towards Varys, where he insinuates going to get a prostitute, and then makes a point of calling that prostitute a male. And I was like, okay, he's haha gay, whatever. However, and this is stereotyping a little bit. I understand that Varys is a eunuch. I understand that he doesn't actually have any like sexual prowess or interest, but he is rather effeminate. Like, i- is he gay
well,
or just you know?
yeah, I think it's ambiguous at this, and it's kind of, at this point, it's not really determined. But there's also another like element to that it's not just about him being gay, but Littlefinger is quite figuratively hinting at him being a pedophile.
Oh,
In that
whoa! I missed that. Hold up.
And Varys counters that, of course.
Yeah, I think
But that is a thing that is a part of the story later on. Not that I never mind.
Sure.
Whatever. Yeah.
We'll just take a note of it.
I think the general that's actually the general. I think the assumption by most people is that if you're a eunuch, then you no longer care about who you like or whatever. Is that what they're like literary? Is that like the literary assumption? I don't know, but I just chat GPT'd it. Can eunuchs get turned on? And then basically, short answer, yes. They can still, be attracted to people and get turned on by stuff. So
I think
I didn't know that.
think
I didn't know that.
much later in the series with different characters we haven't met, I think this idea actually gets explored.
Oh, interesting. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then what else happened? So they go to the cool Eyrie on the Eastern Road.
Yes.
Walter.
Oh, that scene. Sorry.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Okay, well, that scene was the one I was talking about with Kat, and they come to this road, and I like that little shot of the Eyrie, but Tyrion says, "Oh, we're not where we're going," and Kat demonstrates, a little bit of her intelligence by saying, like, "Yes, I stated it loudly and clearly, so that people would think that we were going in that direction." When really she meant to take him here.
Right. That actually happened in the last chapter, but she said
Did
that.
it? Oh, okay.
Yes.
For
But
some
I mean,
reason,
whatever.
thought
We can
they, like-
repeat it. It's fine. I don't know if I even said that. So
Okay, because I thought when they arrived here, that's when Tyrion was like, "Oh, wait, we're headed to the Vale," but he says that in the
yeah,
previous-
no. So they
Yes,
start.
he
They
says in
take
the
that little
previous
break.
scene.
They take that break. They take off his little hood, and he's like, "Can you just remove
Yeah.
these like bounds? Like, I'm not gonna run away." Also, I've noticed we're not on the King's Road. We're on the Eastern Road. And she's like, "Yep,
Okay.
I tricked everybody."
yeah,
Like-
yeah. She's just sending him everything.
Which
I
is a
really
smart move.
appreciated
Honestly, that is. I didn't even think of that, but that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's actually it's. I find Caitlyn's scenes a little painful to watch because she's one of those characters. I hate it. It's such a difficult archetype for me. A character that, by all means, is pretty competent and is making a lot of moves that are well thought out, but you, the viewer, knows that she's wrong, and so it feels like,
Oh, yes.
Caitlyn, like Tyrion isn't the one
Right.
that tried to assassinate your son, and so it's hard to watch because it feels incompetent. But when you actually examine the facts of everything, you're like, nah, she's doing a really good job. She's taking control of the situation. But then she's like, but then what happens? She has the wrong guy. She ends up on a dangerous road, and then she goes to her sister, who I think we haven't gotten to that yet, but is
Oh, that's coming up. Yeah, coming up soon.
a lot.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also her decisions are. I understand why she's making the decisions she's making, but we find out they actually have pretty. The repercussions are pretty bad.
Right.
Maybe she didn't think it
Right.
all through, but we'll find out about that later.
Yeah. I think that's ultimately why she went to talk to Ned in the previous episodes. Was not that she was seeking out Tyrion, but getting ready for the actions that are going to have to be taken, and he is already in King's Landing, so there's not much she can do about that. But
Well, I think
I don't know,
she
she's
wasn't
pretty
she like just like I think the Lannisters are responsible for Bran's thing.
yeah,
And she's kind of just like warning him, like they
Yeah.
might be dangerous, dude. Just watch out, man.
yeah. Oh yeah, and her sister had sent her the letter about
Right.
her husband being murdered by the Lannisters too. So there's already red flags and cylinders are firing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
There. So yeah, that's probably why she was so ready to take Tyrion in. And she's being proactive. So yeah, but like Kit said, it's hard to watch that because that given the other information in the story that we have
Right.
right now, she's kind of making the wrong choice.
Yeah, like I want to root for her. I want to see her as someone who's making, well thought out decisions. And again, on the facts of things, she is. But then you just see them not pan out, or you acknowledge she doesn't. Oh, it's
They don't
hard.
pan out, and also
It's
like
hard.
Tyrion is probably one of my favorite characters, so he's unnecessarily kind of being tortured, like,
No.
and
Yeah,
yeah. All right.
it's a bit of a bummer. But I would just want to
before we
really quickly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We got time.
Before we go on, I have to say, that scene where Ned Stark is objecting to Robert Baratheon murdering or assassinating Daenerys. Ned's advice is pretty bad. I don't think he's doing a good job. The sentiment and maybe like law even of not assassinating a pregnant woman. I don't object to that, but he doesn't just end there. He keeps going, and he's like, "Why are you so worried about these people? It's fine. Just ignore it. It won't be a problem." And I'm like, this is terrible advice.
Yeah. Yeah, he really does lock into this these beliefs.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the council is actually making some good points because Varys, despite his like double-sided nature, he leans over the table and he's like, "Sometimes we got to do terrible things for the realm."
Oh yeah, he becomes like Dr. Manhattan and Watchmen, like kill a million to save billions or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's Meister Pycelle. He's like, yes,
Yeah.
how many tens of thousands will be spared if we just get rid of her now? He's like, I wish her no ill will. And then Littlefinger, is the same mindset. What does Renly say about it though? I can't remember.
I don't know if he says. I can't remember. I did like
doesn't.
gloss
Oh.
over that in my notes. That is a very long scene. So
Yeah. Sorry. So Renly surprisingly doesn't say anything, and that's important. Actually, it comes up. But I do think that Robert coming in to the council finally and saying like, "I told you this was going to happen," is not a matter of him acting out of fear or desperation, but is really just trying to be proactive in terms of avoiding conflict. And I think as a warrior, he sees what move needs to be made, and that means the sacrifice of this woman and her child. And it's a tough call though. But I also appreciate that he's sitting there yelling at Ned, and he's like, "You're leaving. That's basically treason. I could have your head," but he doesn't take his head because we've seen that practiced restraint from Robert over.
yeah, we
over
know
the
he's just
last
kind of
few
like just
episodes.
lashing out a little. We
Yeah.
know it's all just not real, maybe, but yeah. I don't know. I think Ned could have. It happened. So. And it definitely sends him on a spiraling downward path from that point on, pretty much. Because in the next, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
All right, hold on. 149. Okay, so in the next chapter, which is chapter 4, Ned he marches right back up to his room and packs up his things. He's going to go back to Winterfell. He's like, get the girls. We're leaving this place. I hate this place. Pink ass castle. Littlefinger comes in and is like, I can get you a meeting with the last person who talked to Aaron before he died. And in a way, Littlefinger is responsible for the ending. So Ned's like, I don't want to go, and then Littlefinger's like, are you sure? And he's like, oh yeah, I do want to go. So he goes with Littlefinger. And then the next scene we're in the Eyrie, the Eyrie. This is the worst scene. But but it's also very good, I think, because I hate it so much. I don't know. Okay, so the Eyrie, Tyrion and Kat stand before like Kat's sister, who's like, it's a really cool shot of the scene. It's like a giant like circular room, and her sister is up on like almost like a raised platform. So she's like looking down upon them. They're all looking up at her like, what the fuck are we looking at right now? We get a reaction shot of all of them, and then we look at the sister who's like 10-year-old son, whose son is like definitely way too old to be breastfeeding, suckling on her boob. And I don't know how they shot this. I don't know how they were allowed to shoot this. I'm assuming that's probably a prosthetic boob.
I think it's a prosthetic.
It better be.
Yeah. For real.
But okay. Yeah, she's talking to them while her son is just like, casually sucking her boob. His face has like slobber on it. It's disgusting.
Ugh.
And yeah, so she's basically like, I didn't write down what they said, but she's just like, you brought a Lannister into this place. I hate them. Put him in jail. Give him to Mord. And then Tyrion gets thrown into a prison cell, which is like, it's a room with one of its walls missing, and then like where the wall is supposed to be, it's just like a cliff, like off the side of the ear, like 1,000-foot drop. And then there's also like someone, I guess the previous prisoner, there's something written on the wall in like blood, which I didn't catch until I took the screenshots, but it says like, it's time for me to fly or something like that. Like if you go back and like read what it says on the walls, I think the previous prisoners definitely jumped out of the Eyrie or whatever.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Tyrion gets thrown in jail, and Catelyn's sister is a little kind of a creep, and we don't want to. Oh, also earlier in the episode, I didn't mention, but Tyrion does mention like we're going to see your sister. She's kind of weird, dude. I don't know if that's a good idea. Like he does kind of like mention this. All right.
He asks her, "When's the last time you saw her?"
Yeah.
And Kat is like, "Oh, it's
5
been years," and
years.
she's like, "Well, it's not. She's not the same anymore."
Yeah.
So,
Definitely, yeah. I could have never predicted this is what he meant by that in a million years.
I didn't think of that. You didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But anyway,
but this little kid, like you said, you wanted to punch Bran in the face and
Oh,
hit
yeah,
him with
Oh,
his
this kid,
legs
yeah.
to kick him in the face. Well, I just wanted to take this kid and just like slap him a few times because he seems like the most entitled little piece of poop, just like Joffrey. They said this little kid's just standing up and yelling at them. He can't hurt. No.
Yeah, he's the most annoying little kid. He's like, it's the little man. I want to see the little man fly. And
Yes, the little man. Mommy, make the little man fly.
and I do love the I just love the shot. Like we in that scene we first see we get a wide shot of the room, and then we get a close up of the sister and the kid suckling, and then we get a shot of them, and they're all like. They're like, what are we looking at right now? They're like, this is, we came to this. All right. Anyway, yeah, we don't like these people. We don't, the Eyrie was cool. We're like, oh, this is a cool place. And then we meet the people running it, and we're like, we don't like this place anymore. All right, next scene. We're back in King's Landing, and Hobbit guy is being shaved by Pretty Man, Sir Loras.
Ooh,
And-
heck yes. The best scene.
And this is another long-winded talking scene. But Loras kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but Loras kind of like expresses that maybe his father should be king. It's either he wants his father to be king or he wants to be king. I don't know. and then he cuts, and then Hobbit guy is like, I've never like been in a battle, I don't know, and then like Loras like cuts him. He's like, look at this is blood, look at it. And Hobbit guy is like, I don't like it, why'd you do that? And then Sir Loras blows him, and then that's the end of the scene. Cersei joins Robb in his cafeteria. And I think it's just his room, but
Robb's Cafe.
Robb expresses his fears of the Dothraki army. This was another scene where I was like, I don't, this is too long. Oh yeah, this is the teriology scene. He's like, what do you think is bigger, 5 or 1? And then he's like, 1 is bigger than 5. Teriology, hashtag, no. But he's trying to make the point that the Dothraki army, their one army is so big that his 5 like don't really matter, I think is what he's getting across there.
We'll get to that.
Okay, and then they talk about their relationship, him and Cersei. I think this is the only scene we see them like talking to each other. And they've been together for 17 years. They don't give a shit about each other. They know this. They've known this for a long time. This is not like, and then they talk about how they did once though, like a long time ago. And they talk like they're in a business meeting. This is not like a couple meeting or anything. It's just like they're just talking facts. Oh, and that's the end of chapter 4. Anything to say about Nipple Boy?
Yeah, well, I'll get to that in a moment, but just to touch back, so in the scene you were just mentioning, where the king was talking to Cersei. He specifically says the Dothraki have 40,000 men in their army, which I wrote down that number because I thought it was cool to have a number. And then my interpretation, Jojo, if you disagree, please intervene, was when he was saying, 5 against 1, what was going on? Cersei specifically said our numbers are bigger than the Dothraki numbers, which I took to mean not that we have more armies, but that like all of the men combined, literally, we have more than 40,000 men. And then the king was saying, yes, but that's splintered between like 5 different armies, or I don't know if it was 5 armies, but that's splintered amongst different loyalties and allegiances. So we do have more men than the Dothraki, but it's not like my army. It's like the armies of the different respective houses or whatever. And those allegiances can turn. And I personally don't have one army that is like bigger than the Dothraki army. So
okay,
I don't know. That's how I took
that
scene.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that, because the Dothraki are kind of unified by their, I guess their point of rule, whatever that is, and their whatever small philosophies they might have that keep them alive. They're just like, okay, we need to survive, and this is how we survive together. Versus, the dynamics of King's Landing individuals who might be more about themselves. Versus Winterfell people who, try to survive together. Then you see that King's Landing, the different societies, when they're put together, still create conflict within themselves. And so, yeah, I think that's what he means. Is like,
right.
That one army is unified in every aspect, so they're stronger in that way.
Right.
But
I continue. Oh, please, Jojo.
Go ahead.
I continue to be impressed with Robert Baratheon as a king. As a human being, not impressed.
Yeah, he's a bit sloppy when it comes to being a human, right? But
yeah.
I do like.
But as a king, no, please.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I do like him in the scene because he essentially demonstrates, oh man, this wonderful
Awareness.
bit of storytelling. It's kind of awareness, but I think as a character though, he represents something that we are just getting a taste of because in a previous episode, Jorah Mormont states King Barath or King Robert is foolish enough to meet the Dothraki out in an open field. He states that.
Yes.
But then King Robert here is saying you'd be a fool to meet the Dothraki out in an open field. So
Good
then
observation.
that bit of storytelling allows the viewer to see that there's this misappropriation when it comes to information within the characters. Like you can believe one thing about a character, but they will experience and take the action opposing that because of their own story, right?
It makes
So
you
I
think,
that-
it just makes you think maybe he's like putting out this sloppy so people have a different perception of him, but like really when it comes down to business, he knows exactly what's going on and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I think he's always known what it is that he's wanted and he just goes for it, and whether he gets it or not, it's just a circumstance at that point, because Cersei asks him like, what do you want? And he just raises up his glass of wine because he just wants to do whatever it is that he wants to do at this point. But as a king, and as a warrior, he does have a little bit of insight and some foresight. So he knows what it takes to be proactive, and that's why he is in the position that he's in. But yeah, I really like what that demonstrates for him, especially when he's like the fool. You know, you'd be a fool to do that. So he's not as dumb as other people might think. And there's also another line in there that he says to Cersei, he's like, you do this thing where your mouth moves and your father's voice comes out. And I am...
Oh,
I
Jojo
love
loves
Tywin.
the dad.
I
Yes.
love Tywin.
We haven't met him yet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not
So
dead?
that's fun.
Oh.
No, the father of the Lannister patriarch is not dead. We just haven't met him yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's a good character.
All right. What about the Eerie scene? What do you guys got for?
Oh yeah. In my notes, I wrote, "Ew." That scene. First of all, I love that scene and that whole area, but also, it feels like we stepped out of Game of Thrones and into Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna say
Where,
into like straight into a Meat Canyon video in this place. That's what makes me like it so much. I'm like, oh, they're really like, this is fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
they're really going for it.
Now's a good time for me to announce that as of this episode, I am House Tully. Because that place is crazy. But it's so fantastical. It's like all of the other characters up until this point, more or less, are pretty grounded. And then suddenly they turn the corner. There's this really fantastical looking like castle over this bridge. And it's like nothing else that we've seen in the rest of Game of Thrones. And then they walk in and there's this absolute caricature of a insane woman who's like breastfeeding her 10-year-old son, and she's got wild eyes and she's saying wild stuff. I just feel like, whoa, we took the drama and just cranked it up suddenly. What's going on here?
Actually, that is pretty like brilliant on their part. Yeah, because you see the Eerie, you're like, oh, we're going to like a fantastical, like elvish place or whatever. Like you're for me, like when I first saw it, I was like, we're going into the woods with like Galadriel or something like that, and we're gonna meet these like otherworldly beings that are like super cool. But no, we get this gross human being who, it's just she's a little off. just a little. She's like the crazy
I
woman
also
that lives
really
in the
liked-
woods, but it's like not the woods. Like,
I really liked the actor. I don't think he has a name. I think he just has this one scene, but it's the guard that throws Tyrion in his cell.
Mord.
This guy he's having so much fun. He throws him in the cell and he goes, ah ha ha ha, sleep good, little dwarf man. Ah ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah, I like Tyrion's acting, and I mean always, but yeah, just in this, when he's thrown in, he's like he like sees where he is, and he doesn't like freak out or anything. He just like walks up to the edge of the cliff, and he's just like, oh god, he's just like, oh, this is how did I get here? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any Daenerys so far
Yeah, there's no
But
Daenerys
I'd
in
forgotten
this
about
episode,
in this episode.
or no Jon Snow either in this episode.
Thank God.
Oh,
So-
that's right. There's no wall. That's interesting. I said we get that wonderful interaction of the lovely couple of, King and Queen Baratheon. I'll take that. I like that interaction.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which, by the way, speaking of, I was thinking about how last episode, I can't remember his name, but Jon Snow's new friend,
Sam.
what's his name?
Sam.
Sam. There were all these just constant, like, fat jokes that were being launched in this guy's direction every scene. And then we transition into this episode where we've got Robert Baratheon, who is no small man, and his largeness is like a plot point, a minor one, but a plot point, like when he tries to put on the armor and it doesn't fit. And, I think it's kind of interesting to see how everyone in the previous episode, when given the chance, would just fat shame this poor guy. But then around the king, no, everyone's too scared to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Except
we
for
also we get a glimpse. I think the whole point of that scene is to get a glimpse of like him and Ned's like friendship, and how like Ned's allowed to make these jokes because they're buddies.
Yeah.
And then so when he's I don't know, it's to like make him kicking Ned out a little more impactful, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Teriology, or do you guys believe in it? No, I'm just kidding. Do you guys think 1 × 1 = 2? All right, so
No.
that's pretty much it. Okay, we have another. This is the last chapter, chapter 6. Write down the time stamping. Hold on. All right. This is kind of a short chapter. Okay, so Ned he's been taken to the brothel by Littlefinger to talk to the last person who talked to Jon Arryn before he died. It's a prostitute. She was the last person. I didn't know it was her at first. I thought this was just some random lady just talking to Ned as he was waiting for the actual person to come in. But no, she was the last person he talked to. She's holding a baby. It's Robb's baby, bastard child. Robb has a lot of bastard children. And Jon visited her to check in on on the baby, basically, to make sure he was okay and happy and healthy. That's pretty much it. He's just a baby. And hold on, lost my spot. Okay, so that's pretty much their conversation. That's all he finds out from the last person who talked to Jon Arryn. She's like a redhead. Ned goes back into Littlefinger's, I will call it his office. He's sitting down between Emma Frost and Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld. And Creed guy's there too, Jory. He's just standing there. He's just Ned's guy. We get a lot of Jory action in this episode, which I didn't really say, but he's like almost in every scene with Ned. Oh, he's like standing there and stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't do much, but he's always visibly there. Okay, so Emma Frost Oh, okay. So Ned goes back into Littlefinger's office. He's sitting between, Emma Frost and Elaine Bennis. Creed guy's there. Emma Frost stares at Creed guy and flashes her boobs at him, which is actually this is like weird, like foreshadowing for him. Littlefinger and Ned talk for a little bit. Littlefinger basically thinks Robb was overcome with like fatherly love, and even though he had a bunch of like bastard children that he didn't actually care about, he still wanted to make sure they were like okay. So he would use Jon Arryn to like check in on them every once in a while. And that's it. Ned leaves, and he comes back in to drag Jory out because Jory is ogling Emma Frost's boobs still. And oh, is that okay? I'll go into okay. That was a short chapter. That technically the end of that chapter, but I'll just keep going. So they go outside and are immediately surrounded by dozens of guards and Jaime Lannister. Jaime has heard about Tyrion. He's heard about Tyrion. Littlefinger comes out for a second. He's like, "What's going on here?" And Jaime's like, "Go back inside." And he's like, "Okay." And so he goes back inside. And then Jaime just wants to know where his brother is. And Ned said he was taken to answer for his crimes under his own, under his command, is what he says, I think. And they get in a big fight. A big old tussle breaks out. Fight breaks out. Two of Ned's men are instantly killed. Like, they don't even get a chance to do anything. Immediate, just lance through their chest. Yeah. They just want Ned alive, because if he dies, then Tyrion's gonna die, presumably. So yeah, Jaime's like, kill everybody else, keep Ned alive. Creed guy puts on a decent show. He takes out like several guards by himself easily before squaring up with Jaime. And then Jaime, this fight lasts for less than like 1 second. Jaime deflects Creed guy's attack and then stabs him in the eye with a dagger, and he goes down. He's dead. So he got an eye full. So that's why the other scene was like foreshadowing. He gets an eye full of the boobs. He now gets an eye full of a dagger.
I was trying to make the connection. I was like, how is that foreshadowing? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was like, why would they? Is this like flowers for Creed guy? It's like, we're gonna give him his last, we're gonna give him something nice before he leaves or whatever.
From a bone.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah.
Cause I like Creed guy. I wish he didn't die, but he goes down,
Decent guy.
dagger to the face. And then Ned's like, shit, dude, that was my friend. And then so he squares up with Jaime. They get it in a little one-on-one. The rest of the guards just like stand around, hazing style, while it's the classic one-on-one. Everyone else watches. And it's a pretty equal fight between both of them. I mean, they kind of trade equal blows for a while. Neither of them have like a clear upper hand. Jaime kind of starts to get the upper hand though towards the end, and then a random guard comes in and just stabs Ned in the leg with a spear. Like, he didn't get the memo, he just he just comes in like, stab. Ned goes down on one knee. He can't fight anymore. He has a lance lodged in his leg. It's a bad injury. And Jaime is annoyed. Yeah. Jaime's like, "What the hell, dude?" And he like straight up like knocks the guard out. And he, he has the chance to kill Ned, obviously, but he's not going to do that. He can't fight back, so he's not going to kill him. He gets on his horse. He's just like, "I want my brother back," and leaves. And Ned passes out. And that concludes episode 5, The Wolf and the Lion. All right. What do you guys have to say about Emma Frost's boobs? Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Do you guys have anything to say about those couple scenes? Starting with, so basically all that happened is like Ned talks to the last person that talked to Jon, and then the fight, and then that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. at this point when we're like introduced to the other baby, you're kind of like, okay, King Robert, that's enough. Fostering, he's just fostering children left and right, with reckless abandon.
It makes you think there's like 100 bastard children out there or something.
Yeah, exactly. There could be, but I think I also like watch it over multiple times. And I'm like, you know what? He's happy. She's like, oh, he provides for me. He was only ever kind and just wanted to make sure that the child was taken care of. So she is being taken care of. And, like, her child is fine.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. At this point, it's like it's weird because you imagine that wouldn't, that's not going to fly in today's society. But back then, if you were the king and you had all these assets and you had, the safeguards, and you had the ability to provide for someone and make their life better, the way that she could find comfort, without having to do the bad, prostitution work. It's like, sure, take that road, I guess. So I don't know. It seems like a double-edged sword.
Is this implying that he does this for all of them? Because like
Right.
you hear he has a bunch of bastard children. You're like, oh, Rob's kind of a fucked up guy. But then if he takes care of them all, then that makes him better, right?
It's
the duality of Robert Baratheon.
Does he take care of all of them though? Does he take care of that
right.
that 43-year-old guy at the armory? Yeah. How old is Rob?
He's not 43 though, but yeah.
Like a teenager.
That's funny.
Rob's actually 95 years old.
Yeah. I felt bad for Jory, but I'm glad that he got at least an eyeful in one way. That was okay, I guess.
I think that's literally what that was. It's like, we need to give Jory something before he dies,
Yeah. Man.
I enjoyed during that scene, the final scene where they were battling it off against each other. I was paying attention to the background, and I gotta say, guys, if you weren't paying attention to the background, it was amazing, because there were spectators in the background, and you could see some spectators like
in the brothel. Yeah.
Sure. So there were some spectators like up in a balcony or kind of peeping behind a doorway, and that was all well and good. But there was also like a guy hiding behind a tree and another guy hiding behind a horse. And they were like just all you could see were like their eyes or their forehead in some cases. Like they were really hiding behind those objects. It was really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. What would you do in this situation? On the one hand, I'm glad Ned has like honor to stand his ground and fight this like unwinnable battle, basically. But on the other hand, like I would fucking run, dude. Like
I've never been in a situation where there were a group of people, committing. Does this count as murder? I don't know. But I was in a situation one time in Boston where I was walking down the street, and these two strangers were nearby, and they were walking towards each other. And as soon as they got within a hand's reach of each other, one of them, out of nowhere, seemingly, pulled out a lead pipe and started beating the crap out of the other guy.
Oh, shit.
And guys, do you know what I did? No, I did nothing. I didn't even stop talking to my friend. I just kept talking like nothing was happening. And then not but like 3 seconds had passed when a police car comes out of nowhere and like skids to a halt, and this police officer slams the door, grabs the guy with the lead pipe and like slams him on the hood of his car and arrests him.
Damn.
And I just stood there and I stared. And the reason that I did nothing and the reason that I just stood there and stared afterwards was because it was so bizarre that I literally thought they were LARPing. Like I could not
Like-
wrap my head around.
Yeah,
The
like it's a
idea that
performance. Like,
Yes, exactly. I could not wrap my head around the idea that someone actually took a lead pipe and started beating the crap out of someone else. And so my head was like, this must be a performance of some kind, surely. And it wasn't until I saw the police officer come out of nowhere that I went, oh my God, this wasn't a performance.
damn.
That's
So I
scary.
think I would have been
that's
the guy
very-
behind the horse.
That's very scary. Like, you don't register those things until it's already either too late or something has already intervened, or because I can't think of an exact moment like that for me, but yeah, I can relate in terms of being caught off guard, and people might have been like, well, why didn't they do anything? Or,
Right.
why didn't I do anything?
It
It's
is-
because I didn't register that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like my mind would. Yeah, you went to LARPing first. My mind would probably go to like, oh, this is like a YouTube thing or something. Like before going like, oh, this person's being assaulted. Which also, I have another question. Like, there's a lot of YouTube pranksters out there. What would you do if you got pranked? You're just walking around and you get pranked. Because I've thought about this
Probably go with it.
before. Like, okay, and
depends on
specifically, here's a specific situation that I've thought of, because I go running or like walking at night a long time. There's a wooded area I run through every day, at night too. It's pitch black, and it can be kind of scary. So I'd imagine like a dumb prankster could do a prank where they like dress up like a ghost or something and just like pop out at people.
Yeah.
So what would I do if a ghost, a person in like bed sheets popped out at me or whatever? I'd probably like,
Would you like?
I wouldn't, I mean, I'm not going to assault. I would not think it's a ghost, first of all. I would be like, oh, this is a dumb person in a bed sheet. I would probably just keep running, like, and then just see if they chase, if they want to chase after me, they can. They're not going to be able to catch me though. Like, I would just want to see how long they chase me before they give up or whatever.
Right.
So
I felt like this one moment where I was running, and then these two pit bulls. Like, this was at night, because I like to run at night as well, and it was
Same.
super dark, so I didn't see these pit bulls like running up to me, and I had my headphones in, and there's nobody else at the park, but they got up so close, and they startled me, but I just like, I was already jogging pretty steadily, so I just felt like as long as I just don't change, what I'm doing, I'm gonna just go with that. And they didn't do anything, but they like got really close and were just barking at me, and like they came up and sniffed me. But so I don't know if that counts, because it felt very intimidating, and it felt like because we've had several reported attacks of like loose pit bulls.
Oh, shit.
Actually killing people here at the park.
Oh, goodness.
oh my God.
So when they
Were you
started
like, oh,
running
it's
up
my
to
turn?
me,
Like,
I was like, I'm gonna go. I gotta go.
oh man, I don't know what I would do in that. Yeah, that would be an actual
Yeah.
scary situation.
I just felt like, okay, stay calm and don't change up what you're doing, because if you stop, then you'll be stuck. If you speed up, then they'll probably get even more aggressive. So, and I was, jogging pretty slowly and steadily. So
Do you
I
do
don't think I
the
was threatening.
coyote thing, or the thing like the coyote thing where you confront them? You kind of just like do like a quick like, oh, like the mountain lion thing where you put your arms above your head. I had there's a lot of
yeah.
coyotes in this area too, and I think they know me now. They don't seem to give a shit if I'm in this. They'll get really close to me and just like walk by me sometimes. So I'm like, are they getting?
Oh, really? When
is
you're
this
running? I always yell
oh
at
yeah,
them.
all the time. And so it's getting to a point where like regular like people walking their dogs are more annoying than the coyotes. The coyotes know to leave you alone, But
Yeah.
you know, people's dog. There's a lot of people that walk their dogs in this neighborhood without a leash. Really annoying, because a lot of times the dogs just start running after you, and they don't do anything. But it's just kind of like, okay, am I gonna have to kick this dog if it comes down to it? Is today the day I kick a dog? But they always like stop short. You know, they always stop short of you.
I have had that thought.
Yeah.
I have had that thought. Yes. Oh. So props to Ned Stark for keeping his ground. You know? And I
Okay,
think
yeah.
In that fight, he honestly, I think, okay, in the middle of the fight, Jamie like smiles at him and he's like feeling confident. But I think towards the end of it, I kind of read it differently than you did, David, because I could feel like Jamie was grimacing more and actually trying.
Yes.
And like feeling.
That's how I
like,
read it too.
"Ugh," you know.
Oh,
and
I don't know.
then
How did
the
I illustrate it for? How did you guys think I?
You said they were. You said they were going. They were like going head to head. That they were.
Oh wait,
keeping
can
up
you
with
say that
each
again real quick?
other.
My alarm went off. Repeat that sentence. Sorry.
You said that Jaime Lannister and Ned Stark appeared to be equally matched.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
well, I
none of
mean
them had a
during the
clear
sword
advantage.
fight, during like the sword fight, they do like a little one-on-one sword fight. Okay, so you guys didn't agree with that. I don't know. I
No,
would
I
say
felt
just
like
in
Jaime
terms of
was losing it.
skill, like in skill level, they seemed equally matched to me. Until like the very, there was a point where Jamie kind of gets the upper hand, and then the guy stabs him,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, see, that's where I was like, oh, I don't know. I read it differently in terms of Jamie getting the upper hand. I kind of felt like it was leveling off, where he had the upper hand and he had the confidence, but then up past the point where he smiles and then they get back into it. I think there's like this extra level of like, oh shoot, I gotta try. Because
Oh,
he's actually
okay.
grimacing as they're like their swords are together and they're like pushing each other. So I was like, ooh, maybe Ned Stark has a chance here. And that's when the guy comes in with the spear into the leg. And it's like, damn it. Oh, not again, Boromir. Not again.
yeah. I'll have to go back and watch. Yeah, I wasn't entirely. Yeah, I'm not confident in saying they were equally matched, but I'm just saying like Ned definitely does better than Jory did. Let's say that for sure.
Oh yeah.
He does, for sure.
So I think what they're doing
also,
in that fight, like what they do in that entire sequence is they kind of build Jamie up to be this badass sword fighter, basically, because Jory
yes.
takes on like 7 dudes by himself, and then he instantly dies from Jamie instantly.
yeah, it's just like a beautiful maneuver though that I didn't expect the first time I saw it. I was like, oh hell,
He's got
that is a good
them
move. 'Cause
daggers.
He just parries and then thrusts the dagger in like so easily. And I'm wondering if that's the move that he like maybe he riffed that from Sir Barristan, because Jamie was talking to Sir Barristan earlier in Robert's room in one of those
Right.
previous episodes, and he's like, oh, I saw you do this maneuver to this one guy. It was the best maneuver I ever saw. And I was like,
oh,
I'm
does he
kinda
use the
hoping
maneuver
that
on him? Oh,
I'm hoping that's what that is.
oh man, yeah, I want to
That'd
go
be
back
so
and
cool.
check.
But yeah, then I think there's one thing that
But anyway,
I'm
let me just
sad
finish this
about-
thought though, because they build
Oh, yeah.
Jamie up to be this like badass, like, oh my god, he just took out this guy that took out 7 dudes, and now he's gonna fight Ned, and then Ned does like okay against Jamie, so it kind of illustrates how good Ned is
Oh yeah,
when he's fighting this like skilled ass Jamie who
definitely.
might stab him in the eye. We don't know. I mean, he doesn't.
He
but-
also, well, right, but Ned also was missing his signature weapon. He wasn't wielding ice, which is a Valyrian steel sword that could eat through any of Jaime's weapons at this point.
oh
Like
my god.
if Ned had ice, and that's one of the arguments people will bring up. It's like, oh, if Ned had ice with him, he would just slice through Jaime like the Hound did to that horse. Because
Oh.
we see him just clearly
The mountain.
chop cleanly through
Mountain.
that. Yeah. Oh, the mountain. Yeah.
You said the
yeah.
Hound, so yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it meant the mountain. Yeah.
I think the thing that got me in this scene is that Ned gets stabbed through the leg, and you the viewer are supposed to take that as a non-lethal injury, but like that looks like a lethal injury to me.
It's like through the femur. Yeah, like there's definitely like I was a
Major
lifeguard,
artery.
there's a huge artery in that section.
Right.
So I don't think they have the I mean it is a fantasy world, so maybe they just have like some healing spells, but I don't think they have the means to fix an artery injury like that. Like yeah.
I get that they didn't hit any organs, but like he's gonna bleed out and die. He's gonna die from that injury. No way.
Or at the very least, like he's crippled for the rest of it. He's Bran.
Yeah.
He's not really,
doesn't-
but
He doesn't have a leg to stand on.
oh my.
maybe the writers were doing that. It's like
Hey.
Jory has an eyeful, but Ned Stark also doesn't
You
have a leg
know-
to stand on.
That actually makes sense. Yeah, this entire episode is just the downfall of Ned. I feel like it just starts good with making jokes with the king, ends his friendship with the king, and then like basically almost die. Like, do you think Jaime meant to kill him here and then he couldn't?
No,
Or
he couldn't, because then Tyrion would be in questionable.
oh right,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's also why I was like kind of questioning why they were attacking him at this point. But Ned Stark makes the choice to stay in King's Landing when he's just about to leave.
Oh, that's why
Every
I was
time I
saying it
watch
was
this
Littlefinger's
episode-
fault. This is all Littlefinger's fault.
Yeah, man, he's like, he baits him a little bit. He's like, oh, by the way, it'll just be an hour. You can do this really quickly and figure out that thing that you were trying to figure out. And does it really add to what Ned already knows? Not really.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
nothing. It's like a nothing burger of a
Oh, that's
It's like,
so
this baby's
gross.
doing good. Cool. Thanks for that. Like,
Exactly. That's so sad. He's so set up. The poor guy. Oh,
just wants to go home. But I guess I think Jamie was looking for any reason to kill Ned, basically. Like, he probably would have, I've thought, if Ned didn't end up going to this brothel and just left, then I think Jamie probably would have found him out on the road. He was coming after him no matter what. I think the second he heard that Ned is no longer the hand of the king, he's like, it's my chance. Let's do this or something.
yeah.
It's almost like he doesn't even care about Tyrion. I'm sure he does a little bit, but he just wants to hurt Ned. Like
Oh, Jamie. Oh, yeah.
Jamie, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just maybe he does actually care. I'm sure he cares about Tyrion a little bit, but it just seems like Jamie's the type of guy that is kind of only looking after like himself, maybe Cersei a little bit. Like, I don't know. I don't think he likes anybody. I don't know.
even like
I don't know. Not even himself, yeah. Does he like these? He doesn't like these knights. Where did he get this like this posse of like 50 guardsmen or whatever?
The Lannisters. Oh, he is the King's Guard. What is it? The leader of the King's Guard.
Oh, okay.
So he can
He's got some
get as
men
many knights as he wants.
because they're wearing like a different
don't
type
know.
of armor than I've ever seen. Because we've seen some of the knight,
Oh,
the watchmen that confront Arya.
See, this armor is the Lannister armor. That's the signature Lannister armor. But that's the first set of armor that we see in the entire series. Like the first episode, they are like the staple of power.
Okay. Very penis-looking helmets. I just gotta. I don't know. We just gotta put that out there. I also do like how you mentioned Kit. How you mentioned the Watchers, not the people hiding, but the people sitting in the brothel in the balcony.
Yes.
It looks like they're just. They're like having the time of their life. I feel like they're like, oh, a show.
I think so too.
They're like reclining. Like,
You think
I don't
some
know.
of them thought that Littlefinger was putting on a show?
Oh my god.
Yeah, who knows
are
what
these
kind of
actors
shenanigans he
pretending to be-
runs? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Who are these actors pretending to be Jamie Lannister and Ned Stark? Like, this is a great look. That blood looks real. Oh wow.
is there anyone in Shrek that looks like Jamie Lannister? He seems like a Shrek character, and I don't know why.
Yo, Prince Charming, right?
Let's see.
Prince Charming.
I gotta look it
in
up.
the
Prince
second movie.
The third one, I think.
Shrek. Oh my God, yeah, dude. Let's throw it on the screen. Prince
Oh
Charming.
my
This
God, I
is
just
straight up
looked him
Jamie,
He
dude.
looks exactly like him. Oh my gosh. Wow. Dude, Dave, good call.
Shrek character. Yeah.
Dave,
I don't
that
know.
was amazing. That's amazing because you didn't
it
know
is the
you
second
didn't know
one.
what Prince Charming looked like. You just felt like he belonged.
Oh my God. Yeah, Jamie looks like some sort of animated character. Like, I don't know.
It's the hair, man.
He's too perfect. I don't know. Just like the other guy, Loris, and there's a lot of like perfect looking
Homelander?
men in
Oh.
this show. I don't know. The Link boy, Robert's punching bag.
Loris, yeah.
Anyway, all right. What do you guys rate this episode?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
8 out of 10. Oh, 8 out of 10 swords to the leg.
Okay. Oh my God, that's a lot of swords in the leg. God damn.
I,
Ugh.
oh my gosh. I'll give it 8 out of 10 daggers to the eye.
Oh.
Oh, 8 out of 10 eyeful. I think I'll go 8. I was gonna be a 9, but there's a lot of good stuff. This is like a turning point episode. Like a lot of stuff is gonna be different in the next episode. I feel like. Like what's gonna happen to Ned? Is Ned arrested now? They kind of just leave him there, but I feel like take him into custody. I don't know.
This is a good opportunity to introduce a new segment.
Well, let me finish my rating. Let me finish my like.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I don't 8 out of 10. I lost my train of thought. All right, go into your new segment. Go into your new.
It's called Dave's predictions. Dave, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh my God.
That's it.
Okay. How dare you? All right. So okay. I mean, this gives me an opportunity to get my thoughts back. I don't know what's gonna happen to Tyrion. He's in that prison cell, but we know this. The person holding him, what's her name? Cat, too. What's I don't know her sister's name. Boob lady. She is not all there mentally. So
Liza.
Liza.
Aaron.
She I don't know. I think she's going to do some messed up stuff to Tyrion or just leave him in there. It seems like, again, if you go back, there's like messages written on that prison wall, and they suggest that the people that were in there previously like jumped off the cliff. So maybe Tyrion just gets left in there forever until he dies. Like, I don't know. I don't think that'll happen, but I guess that is a possibility. He's a main character. I don't think that's going to happen. What happens with Ned? I don't think he dies, but I think he gets. I mean, they just left him there on the ground, so I don't know. But I think they probably detain him as well. They right away. I think they leave it ambiguous on purpose. So I don't know. I think he gets arrested and he's just in custody now. And he can't do shit. He's so
He really
Tyrion.
didn't do anything.
Who, Ned?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he didn't really do much. He just kind of like, he was just like, I don't want to kill a kid, so I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And then even if Jamie wanted to arrest him for arresting his brother, Ned was hand of the king at the time, so his decree would have been a royal decree, which means that
Oh,
it
that is
would
true.
have been Robert that had arrested Tyrion.
It is cool how he took responsibility, I guess. It's another noble, honorable thing to do. Obviously, he had nothing to do with it, but who else? What are some other? Oh yeah, we have Not Rob, floppy wiener guy. I think we're gonna see more of him. It just seems like they're building him up. I don't care about him at all. I would rather not ever see him again, and I wouldn't. I don't.
Yep.
I wouldn't care. But I think we're gonna be seeing more of him. What else happened in this
Well, let me
episode?
ask you. I have a couple specific questions. Throughout Game of Thrones, the question that I think every fan asked is, who is going to end up on the throne when the show ends?
Oh my God. Well, okay.
Do
here's
you have a prediction?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. The only
do you know?
episode of Game of Thrones I've ever seen
Oh,
is the is the final episode.
No, Dave. Why? What? What?
Because
Reveal this.
and I do remember it because I remember
Oh.
being like, I don't know what's happening at all here. So I kind of know. I don't know. I was just like, I was hanging out with some friends. They're like, we're going to watch the final episode of Game of Thrones. Like, you should come over. I was like, I don't care. I don't know what's happening, but I'll watch it. Who cares?
What a plot twist for this podcast. You'd be like, I have never seen Game of Thrones except the last episode.
So knowing,
Oh my god.
and yeah, it is unfortunate that I do remember a significant amount of that episode.
Oh my
I've seen other episodes of Game of Thrones that I don't remember.
Yeah.
But that one, I don't know. I think it's because I was like, what is happening here? Like the whole time. I think it just imprinted in my skull.
Damn.
So
Well,
but
shit.
knowing
There goes
that,
my segment.
well, we can still do like the next episode. I think it is kind of fun to. There is a lot of like red herring type stuff too, where they're trying to like misdirect you a lot in these episodes, where you're like, oh, this guy's gonna do this, but no, like he has a floppy wiener.
So how do you
Plot
think
twist.
Season 1 is going to. How do you think season 1 is going to end?
Okay, based on what's happening so far.
We're halfway through the season.
I don't think things get better for Ned. I don't think Ned ever gets back to Winterfell. So I'll say that. Tyrion, I don't know about Tyrion. I think Tyrion gets out of jail. I don't know. I think Robb might die. It feels like Robb's gonna die.
Which Rob?
King
are we
Robb.
talking about?
I don't care about the other guy. The Robb
Thank
that
you.
matters.
Okay.
And then I don't know. Maybe Jaime dies. I don't know. I feel like he's got to die. I don't know if he does though or not.
I'm writing all these down. We're gonna revisit these.
Bran. I don't care about Bran. I gotta be honest. But something. I hope he learns how to ride maybe he learns how to ride a horse by the end of the season. I don't know. And then I don't know what happens with Theon, not Rob. You know, technically his name is not Rob. Get it? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I think it seems like they're building a storyline with him up about his initial meeting with the Starks. They were enemies first, and now he works for them. And he was a part of a rebellion that was against the Starks too. So I think they're gonna do. I think he's gonna like rebel again. I don't know. He's gonna do some enemy villain shit. I don't know. I don't know what though. I think that's it. I think those are my predictions.
What about
I can. Oh,
We've got a few. I've got a few more characters I'll throw at you. All the women. You only listed the male characters.
Oh man, there's women in this. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Listed Ned, King Rob, Tyrion, Jaime, Bran, and Theon. So there's Arya, there's Sansa, there's Catelyn Stark, there's Catelyn Stark's sister, there's Cersei, to name a few.
I mean, we don't get a lot of time with any of them. If we're like, Sansa had a total of maybe like 30 seconds in this episode, and she hasn't had any major scenes yet. I mean, we've learned. Okay, let's go. What are the Sansa scenes so far? In the first episode, we learned she's 13. We learned that she's bled.
She wants to be
We
queen.
learned that. Yeah, she wants to be queen, right? She wants to marry Joffrey, right?
I don't know if she wants to be queen specifically, but she does want to marry Joffrey.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and
But
then
she does say that that's all she's ever wanted in the first episode.
okay,
Right. In terms of marrying Joffrey, I don't think that was about gaining political power.
Well, no, I don't think it was about political power. I just think the symbol of status is important to her.
Yes.
She does say
yes.
she wants to be queen.
Ah. Okay. Yes. I
Yeah,
agree.
she's
She wants
very,
status, she wants class.
I don't know. I don't even know if the story gives a shit about Sansa right now. Like, honestly, like, we get glimpses of what she is like as a character. She's just like a bratty, teenage girl going through teenage girl stuff. It's fine, whatever. Like, she's kind of like right now. I know you like her, Kit. I'm trying every episode.
whatever.
I'm like,
No, please.
do I have any compliments to give Sansa? This I really do try to find some.
Most people
She's
do
just
not
kind of like a
Sansa.
meh
It's an
character right now. I
unpopular
don't know.
opinion.
So, and I think that's how the story, in my opinion, is treating her as well. Like, the story wants us to know she exists. I think something probably important down the line will happen with her, but for now, the story is just like, yeah, she's still here. By the way, Sansa still here. Just letting you know.
No, you're actually think you're making some pretty good observations because no, without getting into any story beats, she is not a character right now who has displayed any level of agency whatsoever, and that will become important
Okay.
as the story moves on.
And then I kind of
Yeah.
feel a similar way about Arya. Like, Arya she's a little more interesting, but still, we haven't seen a lot of her. She's into swords and stuff. She gets into mischief. She's got confidence, which she had no problem telling those guards off. Like, I'll get my dad to kill you, like, basically. So I think Arya is a little more interesting, but at the same time, we haven't seen a lot of her, really. So I don't know what's going to happen with her. I think she just becomes like a really skilled fighter is really all I have to go on
Hell yeah.
right now. Possibly a good leader at some point. I don't know. Who are the other ones? Cersei?
Yeah, Cersei, Caitlyn,
Daenerys.
yeah, sure, those two. Oh, right, Daenerys. Oh my god. Daenerys.
I don't know. Cersei,
Daenerys' handmaid.
Cersei's another. I care less about Cersei than I do about Sansa. I don't know. I just don't care about her. She's there.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a lot.
She's got some. Actually, maybe not. She's cool. She says a lot of like messed up stuff. She's gotten away from that in the last few episodes. But she doesn't. I don't really know her place in the story other than I think she's just the reason. She's the reason for a lot of other men to be acting the way they're acting. Specifically Jaime. But I don't even know if Jaime gives a shit about her. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that.
Caitlyn. I don't know. She's another character I don't care about. I don't know. so far, she's been sad about Bran. She's been, proactive against bringing justice to Bran, but she's got the wrong person, Tyrion. And now she's brought him to a place that may or may not have been the best place to bring it. Like maybe even her life is at stake from having gone to this place. So I don't know. Maybe she's in danger. And Daenerys. I think I only see good things happening for Daenerys. She's only had an upwards trajectory, pretty much. She started way at the bottom. She's being groped by Andy Dick in the first episode, forced to marry this guy that just, pounds her in the butt all the time. But she even turned that around. It's funny how the position in which Khal Drogo used was actually used as a form of character development.
Yeah.
It's like he never wanted to look at her face. Now they look each other in the eyes all the time. And so that was her way of kind of, I don't know about gaining power over him, but just endearing herself to him in a way that kind of brought her a tremendous amount of power over the Dothraki. She's not just a slave girl with no brain or whatever. She's actually trying to dig herself out of a shitty situation in whatever means possible, and it's working out for her. So I think she's just only gonna have good things happen to her. I don't know.
Okay, last character. What do you think happens to the Omega prostitute?
Oh God. I don't know. Well, I mean, we don't really know much about. All we've seen is her in this episode, and then I think she was in the first episode. Was she with Tyrion in the first episode? I don't know. I don't remember enough about her to really make any assumptions yet. She seems to just know a lot about the different characters, so maybe she's just an exposition dump type person where she'll just talk about other characters, give information about them that we wouldn't be able to find out any other way. I don't know. I don't think she's going to be much of a player, but she is a player. You know what I'm saying?
She's a player. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. And then we got Littlefinger and Lord Barris. I don't know what to think of these guys. They just seem like a bunch of little rascals, little rascals. Stoke the Flamers.
Dixon's recorded.
Okay.
Cool.
I do appreciate the shot of the Red Keep at the beginning of this, and then the Eyrie.
Oh.
That's my landscape favorites. But that was probably the only.
Okay, I didn't know that was called the Red Keep, but okay.
Yeah.
Because they mentioned that in the last episode, Lord Gargadon is made the red. I don't remember what they said, but anyway, I thought they were referring to someplace off in the distance that we haven't seen yet, but it's this place.
Oh yeah, it's in King's Landing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good shot. I do like the shots of that, as well as the Eyrie landscape shot. Great shot. Also, when he's looking down over the cliff, that's also a really good. I like that entire just concept of that jail cell. I just love shit like that in fantasy and sci-fi. It's it's a jail. You can escape if you want, but it's not gonna be fun. I don't know. It's just a cool fantasy thing. And I don't know. I hate Caitlyn's sister, but also I just like that type of character.
Yes.
I like what that brings to the table. Oh, also, what about Jon and Sam? I don't know. I think Sam dies. Yeah. I think Sam dies, and I think Jon also seems to have he's only had an upward arc so far. I guess you could say going to the Night Watch was a dip in his trajectory, but I don't. It hasn't seemed like that though. He immediately took charge. It's actually a way of like showing how skilled he is, either how skilled he is or how like shitty the other people are. I don't know. I don't know what. I think he just becomes like a pretty high-ranking officer of the Night Watch at some point soon. And then Sam dies, and he eats Sam. I want him to eat Sam.
Oh, right.
No, I'm just kidding. I hope Sam survives, but I feel like he's probably going to die. Okay, so next week we've got episode 6. It's called A Golden Crown. So we're going to get some more like piss stuff. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Do we have? We didn't get any.
Here, I'll record a laugh. You can edit this in post. So funny.
So we have you guys been into anything cool happening in your lives? You want to? I don't know. Maybe you've watched like a cool movie recently or listened to.
Oh, I've really gotten into the WNBA.
Oh my God.
Been watching those girls ball.
They're really good at the fundamentals, right?
No, no, they ball hard, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been into. I was telling JoJo how I bought some juggling balls, and I'm like sort of learning how to juggle. It's really hard. Can you guys juggle?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, well, show off. Okay.
I can whip.
Oh, like Nene? Ghost Ride the Whip? No, I'm just...
Yeah. That's exactly what I meant.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.